After splendid hospitality at Starborough Castle, I'm now pacing an old Roman road in search of a clue in my Bradshaw's Guide to the underground history of Godstone. Bradshaw talks about the famous quarries at Godstone. I'm here to meet Peter Burgess, who's unearthing their past. Hello, Peter.
Hello there, Michael. Welcome.
Now, I've come here because of my Bradshaw's Guide, and he says that Godstone is named after good stone.
Yes, quite a few people have made this very same statement, but if you look into it a bit deeper, you'll find that stone is a reference, as in many other place names, to the Roman road that runs through the village. And Cod, we believe, is a family, Saxon family, so this is Cod's place on the Roman road.
But nonetheless, it is famous for stone here.
Oh yes, yes, there's very extensive quarries for the stone that can be found at Godstone indeed.
The stone was originally used as a building material in London, being the nearest source to the capital. It was called firestone because of its special heat-resistant properties, and was later used in factories as a bed to roll out molten glass, and for domestic hearthstones.
After the late 1850s, the railway came to Caterham, which is about 2 miles up the road from here. And one of the reasons for constructing that line, one of the things that persuaded people to put money into the line, was the fact that it would serve as a link for these quarries to get the stone up into the national rail network.
At the time, this quarry produced the best stone in the area, and the industry grew. But as the railways spread, it became easy to bring in higher quality building materials like Bath and Portland stone. Godstone quarry declined and closed in the 1940s. The old tunnels are still here, and they haven't changed much since Bradshaw's epoch. Pretty cool in here, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Now, you and I are having to squat down a bit in here. What were conditions like for the quarrymen, say, in the 19th century?
Well, we have it good because we've got good lights. They would have been working by candlelight, but they would have had the same issues with the height and so on. They wouldn't have been wearing helmets, of course, so...
health and safety not a big thing in those days?
Oh, no.
Miners dug over 6 miles of tunnels in the quarry, and as I follow in their footsteps, I gain some sense of what those Victorian workers endured. We've come through such a labyrinth. It several times occurred to me that if you weren't here, I would probably get lost and die in here. I'd never find my way out again.
I don't think you would, no.
What are these jottings here?
These appear to be numbers, so my guess is these are tally marks. I mean, the quarrymen would have been paid, my guess is, for the amount of stone they were taking out. They're keeping a record. But in order to get this out, of course, they had to do it, and it was all done by hand. Picks and hammers and wedges were the tools they had. Inside the mine, Peter and his colleagues are excavating the tunnel floors to reveal more about how the miners operated. That just looks like rock, but persevere. You see it's beginning to get a bit rusty. They've uncovered some very early rails, which carried horse-drawn wagons of stone to the surface. Now this rail here, this broken section, is in fact the same as you are uncovering here. It's very different from what I recognise as a rail. Indeed it is. First of all, it's made of cast iron, so therefore it's not particularly strong. That limited, of course, how much you could carry on a railway like this, because the rails would break, as indeed this one has. And what does this say? Well, this is the name of the railway that they were made for. It says C, M and G. Croydon, Merstham and Godstone. And where you were scraping here, there's of course the chance that that lettering might still be in place. Must be worth another go. Well, yes, indeed. Peter's discovered that these rails were recycled from one of the earliest horse-drawn railways built in Surrey in 1803. They helped the mine to prosper, as larger amounts of stone could be hauled out more quickly. Here you are, Andrew, beautifully positioned under the clock. Nice to meet you. Very good to see you. My Bradshaw's Guide tells me that Waterloo had many railway offices and departments, and I think you're going to tell me about a rather unusual one, aren't you?
Yes, it was also the terminus of what was rather irreverently known as the Stiffs Express, a line that carried dead bodies to the largest cemetery in the British Empire at Brookwood in Surrey. And you could have a whole funeral service based around this railway line. The service could be conducted at this end or at the end of the cemetery. But either way, you put your relative onto the train and they had a one-way ride to Brookwood. You yourself, as the mourner, had a return ticket.
The all-inclusive service was run by the London Necropolis Company, which was set up in the 1850s. They had discreet offices and even their own funeral platform just next door to the station.
Waterloo would have been a very railway-haunted area, the constant rattle and clatter of the trains coming in and going out every minute over the viaducts, over the high level, and even in death, they were trying to fit you into a railway timetable.
So this facade, this splendid facade, is the Necropolis station, is it?
This is what survives of the whole Necropolis complex.
Why were they sending all these bodies out of London?
Well, they thought it was a good business proposition, but it was also a response to a genuine crisis, a shortage of burial space. In the first half of the 19th century, the population of London about doubled, and there were bits of skeletons lying about in churchyards. So they needed space to bury bodies. And it would be discussed since the 1840s that there ought to be a big cemetery safely far away from London so that cholera would not be an issue, and the bodies would be transported there on this newfangled invention, the train.
At its busiest, each train carried up to 48 bodies, along with the various funeral parties. At the cemetery, there were two purpose-built stations, one for Anglicans and one for other denominations. So you brought me up quite a long staircase, well, up at the level of the railway viaduct.
We're now behind the office part of the Necropolis complex, and the hearses would come sweeping in through this archway, and then the bodies would be lifted by an electrical lift up to the actual Necropolis station on the viaduct there.
What sort of carriages did they travel in?
The carriages were funeral carriages and passenger carriages. Both were divided into first, second and third class.
Sorry, I have to stop you. Are you telling me the bodies went first, second or third class?
You might think, why would you send your maiden aunt first class? You could easily save a bit of money. Sending her third, she wouldn't know the difference. But I think they took more care with your coffin if you went first. And whether you bought a first, second or third class ticket for the corpse would correspond to the type of funeral that you bought. So if you bought one of the fancier funeral packages, a first class ticket would go with that.
Before long, it wasn't just the dead who were taking advantage of the third-class fares.
A lot of people would kind of sneak on to the funeral service, even if they weren't burying anyone, especially golfers, because there was a good golf course near Brookwood Cemetery.
So now I have an idea in my mind of golfers dressed in black pretending to be mourners.
I'm assuming that golfers did not wear garish yellow checked jumpers in those days. If so, I don't think they could have masqueraded as being in mourning. And what they did with their golf clubs, I don't know.
The business ran successfully for almost a century, but today just hints of the line remain. And so, when did the last stiff express puff out of here?
April 1941. And then later in that month, there was a big bombing raid. And not only was most of the Necropolis complex here destroyed, but the funeral train was blown up into the bargain, and that was curtains.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Compilation.
Thank you very much. It's a fantastic railway line. Was it built for tourism, do you think?
No, original reason for this line was to convey the products of the slate quarrying town of Blaenau to the coast. So that was the real reason for the line. But of course, as the years have emerged and industry has changed, then tourism very much is now our main feature.
North Llanrwst Station opened in 1863. The line carried slate, and the mountains became accessible to rail passengers for the first time. North Llanrwst Station is beautifully situated, and it was obviously built on a scale, a gateway to welcome tourists and visitors, now looking a little bit like faded splendour. I've come to see what attracted all the visitors. Bradshaw writes, "In the vicinity is Trefriw, in a hollow of the Carnarvonshire hills. where there are some salubrious mineral waters. The Trefriw Springs were a local secret until the 19th century. When the railway arrived, the town blossomed into a fully fledged spa with a bathhouse and pump room. The bathhouse is no more, but of course the famous waters flow still. Hello, Hilary.
Hello, Michael.
Hilary Rogers-Jones is a guide at the spa. So these are the spa waters of Trefriw, is that right?
They certainly are.
And Bradshaw, my 19th century guide, he says they're very salubrious waters.
And efficacious.
And why is that? What is it that they contain?
Iron.
Iron.
And it's in solution. It was called Trefriw chalybeate. I think he may have mentioned chalybeate waters, which is iron in solution.
Does it give you energy?
Oh, of course it does.
And how do you best take it then? Do you ingest it or do you bathe in it?
No, you take it. They used to bathe in it. In Bradshaw's times, they bathed in it.
It was said that these iron-rich waters provided a natural cure for anemia. Demand rocketed. And taking advantage of the new branch line, the spa created one of the earliest mail order businesses that made use of rail.
They could get it in the post as well. And here's one of the very old boxes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
With the bottles.
Oh, that's
And it
fantastic.
has Trefriw wells on it.
And I presume sent off on the train.
Yes, they'd be collected from here. That's when the post office came into Trefriw. And then, of course, so much went by rail, didn't it, in those days?
I had no idea that at that stage you could send away and get a little bottle of water.
A little bottle of water. Very expensive. This would be 42 shillings for an 8-week supply of water, which was a tremendous amount of money in those days, just imagine.
That is. I
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
That is staggering.
It is.
They must really have believed in it.
Oh, they did.
Back then, 42 shillings was over a week's wages for most workers. So the mail order service was an expensive luxury for the rich. Those who took the train to the spa could also take a dip in the special waters.
And this is the bathhouse that people used to bathe in from 1833 when it was built. And as you see,
huge bath.
it is, isn't it?
And what's this made of?
Slate.
Slate.
Good Welsh slate.
Yes. And what, the water just
Used to come
tumbling off the mountain?
tumbling off the mountains into here.
I can understand that if you drink iron, that might do some
yes,
good. But bathing in it, would that do any good?
Well, they believed it would. And faith is a wonderful thing. isn't
Faith.
it? Yes.
Faith is
Yes,
everything.
It is, isn't it?
I think I'll skip the bath, but I wouldn't mind a taste of these famous waters.
Mind your head.
Dark and damp. Look at those iron
look at them.
stalactites. Fascinating. Down the hatch.
Yes. Very metallic.
Oh, it's not so bad.
Isn't it? I don't mind it, you see, for some people...
No, it is metallic, but it's not,
yes, but
it's not unpleasant.
No, it isn't, is it?
No. Oh, just like drinking steel. Today, the water still compensates for iron deficiency and is sold all over the world. Today, Batley strikes me as a quiet place, but in Bradshaw's time, things were very different. My 19th century guidebook tells me that Batley has extensive woolen and carpet manufactures. It might also have mentioned that those industries were based on the concept of reusing waste material. Malcolm Haig has been researching the story.
Hello.
You, Malcolm?
I am. Good to see you.
I'm Michael. Very good to see you indeed. Now, I understand Batley has some claim to have invented recycling. What's that based on?
Well, yes, that is. It's a system whereby a guy from Batley, called him Benjamin Law, wanted to find a new means of earning money and expand his work as a clothier here.
The story goes that Benjamin Law began to tear up rags and waste from Yorkshire's extensive woolen industry, attempting to make new cloth.
He mixed the torn up wool and rags with virgin wool, and then was able, after a number of years of trying, to create cloth, fresh cloth.
What did he call it?
Well, eventually it became known as shoddy, which sounds a very awful thing to do, shoddy cloth. I mean, everybody thinks it's awful, but in fact it comes from an Arabic word, very similarly sounding for reuse.
Recycled shoddy cloth was such a success that by the 1850s, thousands of tons of rags were arriving in Batley station each week. I suppose this must have been quite a station in its day too.
This was central to Batley's prosperity. The railway companies who came here didn't really bother about passengers. It was bringing the goods in. In those days, there were no less than 7 platforms.
Really?
And a huge area given over to warehousing and auctions, because when the rags came here, thousands of tons from all over the world, they were auctioned on a regular basis here at the station.
Did Batley make a fortune on the back of this?
Some people did. Some people made an awful lot of money, but best of all was that from this system, lots and lots of manufacturers, mills were created here, which meant that over the years, thousands of people have had jobs in this valley and creating things like woolen cloth, uniform cloth in particular, which is why this whole area is known as the heavy woolen district.
What would Batley have looked like in its heyday? If we were standing here, what might we have seen across the valley there?
Well, something like, in the valley, 60 mill chimneys. All of them, that's if you could see them, because they used to throw out the dirt every hour, on the hour, so sometimes you couldn't see from one side of the valley to the other.
Shoddy was a massive recycling industry right into the 20th century. But from the 1960s, the growth of synthetic fabrics forced it into decline. Most of the mills have closed now, but Batley has become an important centre for a new kind of recycling. I'm meeting Joanne Illingworth to see how it works in the 21st century. What are you actually doing?
We're textile recyclers. We process second-hand clothing. We sort it, we hand sort it, and then we export the final product. Most of it goes abroad. A lot of it goes to Eastern Europe, but the main bulk of the clothing goes to Africa, and some goes to Pakistan as well. A small percentage does stay in this country.
And where do you get it all from?
The main source is charity shops. They're off the rails what they can't sell.
Is there a benefit to the environment from what you're doing?
Of course, anybody that wants to, throw their old clothing away, if they just throw it in the bin, it's obviously going to go to landfill. Whereas if it comes here, it's all processed and sorted and all goes for reuse again.
And what do you do with the stuff that really isn't fit for human wear?
That will be gone for shoddy, and then there is a very small percentage that will go to landfill.
Shoddy is still used, is it, for recycling
It
materials?
is, yeah. We sell to other companies who will process it into shoddy. So they do still use that word, yes.
Although recycling has moved on, seeing clothes being sorted by hand makes me sense a connection with work in Bradshaw's day. So what judgment are you making? What are you deciding?
Well, I know that's heavy, so I know that goes straight into there. So is that. And then I can judge straight away the light. Summary, so it goes there.
Summary there.
And it'll go to ladies' hump belt there.
That's right.
Okay. Well, I guess that's a critic again, don't you?
Yeah. Feel.
Yeah,
Go
all right.
by feel alone.
How long have you been doing this?
About 25 years.
Have you really?
Yeah.
I wonder how many bits of clothing you've sorted in that time.
I don't know.
This is heavy enough for Pakistan.
Yeah, Pakistan,
right, yeah.
Oh, I'm getting the hang of this. Bradshaw's refers to the journey from Chatham to Aylesford, says we get glimpses of woody country. He says the land is studded with substantial homesteads and wealthy looking farms, rising in the midst of cornfields or orchards, or surrounded by the British vineyards, the Kentish hop grounds. In the Victorian era, when there were no grapes in Kent, that was George Bradshaw's idea of a joke. Hops were an essential ingredient in beer, and Kent was a key supplier. My guide says the ancient Aylesford has a population of 1,487 employed in the hop gardens. The hop was first cultivated in Kent about the middle of the 15th century. By 1878, around 47,000 acres of hops were under cultivation in Kent. Castle Farm, owned by William Alexander's family, still grows hops today. Hello, William.
Hello, Michael.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Even hop growing was transformed by the arrival of the railways.
There was a a period where the consumption of beer had increased, not least because of railway construction, and the large teams of navvies were given up to 10 pints of beer a day as part of their wages. And so the hop industry grew on the back of this raised consumption of beer.
Now, judging by my Bradshaw's guide, in the middle 19th century there would have been extensive hop growing in Kent, much more than today, I think. How was that crop got in? Because it must have been very demanding.
Yes, to bring in the crop you needed to do it in September over quite a short period, so you needed a lot of labour. And this was drawn in from East London, often coming down on the trains when they were available, and big groups of people would arrive on particular dates, often 3 generations in a family coming and spending 2-3 weeks in Kent picking hops.
From 1865, dedicated trains known as hopping specials left London Bridge each summer, packed with families bound for Kent. For unemployed Londoners, it was a chance to earn some cash and to escape the smoke of the city. Up to 80,000 people came each year, and they needed places to stay.
Well, these are the only 2 remaining examples on the farm of the hopper huts that families used to live in.
You're not serious? People used to live in these tiny huts?
I know. Haven't times changed? And they have bunk beds built onto the walls, and they made them quite homely by putting paint or even wallpaper stuck to the corrugated iron. And there was quite a community with a whole row of these in the field and a sort of central cooking area, and every day they were given a bundle of sticks for the fires from the farm called faggots, which were made up in the previous winter.
But I have to imagine then that, maybe 5 or 6 people might have stayed here, and that this was their holiday.
Absolutely. They made it a holiday time, and there was a great atmosphere.
A few weeks in the fresh air was seen as a benefit to the children. But it was hard work, and picking began at daybreak. William's taking me into the fields to see what's involved. Well, I can safely say I've never been in a hop garden before. And this is what they mean by one, is it?
Yes, they grow 16 foot high up these strings from ground level, which they shoot from in April. So they grow very rapidly. And when they get to the top, they branch out and you get all these lovely hops developing.
Paint for me a Victorian scene. What would the picking have been like in Victorian times?
Well, we've got all this family labour that's arrived, and they come out on the first morning, a misty morning, and they would spread up a long row like this in groups of family, and the farm staff would come out with long hooks or pullers and pull the bines down, giving bines to each family to pick, and they would pick them into baskets.
Can we have a go at doing this?
Yes. Now, we don't have a traditional puller, so I thought that you could act as one and bring this one down for us. If you move over there, I'll get out of the way. I'll cut this one off.
Right.
And then if you get onto the end of that one, Michael, I'll hold your book.
That's Bradshaw. You hold him with great respect. And so I just yank this, do I?
Yeah, give a good pull.
Very good. Is that how it always goes?
You need to practice, I think.
I need to practice.
Would you like to try another one?
No. One's enough for the day, I think.
Pick the hop vine up and lay it near a basket, and then rapidly pick off the hops.
Wow, you've got to go at quite a speed if you're going to get paid.
If you want to earn any money, you've really got to get moving with this.
How were they paid?
Payment was based on the amount picked every day, and in order to keep your whole large gang of pickers here on the farm and not to lose them before the crop was fully home and dry, they were paid with tokens. And I have a hop token, which was only recognised locally in the pub and the grocers of the village, but at the end of the season the farmer would exchange it back for good pounds, shillings and pence as they left on their train back to East London.
And that device prevented them from hopping off?
Exactly.
Before the end of the season. I think I better give that token back to you because I just don't feel I've quite earned it today. These days, the brewers import a lot of their hops, and William no longer supplies them. The process of picking has been mechanised.
What we're seeing here is how it's harvested today. They're cut at the bottom and held in the front of the trailer, and then the man at the back is cutting them off at the wirework level rather than pulling them down to the ground by hand.
Having brought one down on my own head, I can see the advantages of this method. Do you have any people coming in now to do the picking?
Well, we have a completely different use for hops, and we're cutting them for decoration. So we're not actually picking them off, we're drying them on the vine. That means that we don't need vast numbers of people to do it. But we do still, even now, have seasonal labour, and we have a couple with us at the moment from New Zealand.
They didn't come on the train.
They didn't come on the train, no, indeed.